What is up, everybody? Skratch coming up with another Raid Shadow Legends video. Guys, we'll be getting Bankrupt this weekend. Plarium will be getting so much money that they're gonna need help to carry the money home at the bank, because we're gonna have an insane 10x going on. We didn't have this champion on the 10x since last year on Halloween. Almost 1.5 years. And yeah, that was kind of the hint, guys. Probably you know it. The champion that we're gonna have on this 10x as the only Void Legendary champion is no one else but Siphi, the Lost Bride. Ladies and gentlemen, in all her beauty. An amazing champion. Will I be trying to go for a second? Most probably I will. I hope in 2 weeks from now we're not gonna have 10x Hegemon, because I might be doing poof. That will be kind of like a disappointment, but hey, I don't have an insane amount of Void saved, so I'll be definitely trying to get a second one. I want to have one for offense, one for defense. That's kind of like game-changing overall. That's my Siphi right here. Not extremely fast, comparing it with the top players in Arena, right? I'm not comparing it with everybody in the game, with you that you're a new player. Just generally, she's not that fast compared with 400 speed, because there are many at 390 plus speed these days, guys. People that are always buying the speed gear, but she's decent, right? Now, what's so good about this champion? Irresistible sleep on the A1. Block debuffs, increase defense, increase speed, increase turn meter on a 4-turn cooldown on the A2. Very, very powerful skill. On the A3, revives a single dead ally with full turn meter, increase attack and increase crit rate on a 4-turn cooldown. Very powerful. The passive heals each ally by 10% of their max HP at the start of their turn. A 50% chance to remove freeze and fear debuffs from each ally at the start of their turn. Removes all debuffs from Rotos, the Lost Groom, at the start of their turn if they are on the same team. That's why Rotos alone equals trash, especially for defense. Offense, he's pretty good alone as well. But defense-wise, Rotos alone is trash. You can tell me whatever you want, you're not gonna change my opinion. Rotos with Siphi, on the other hand, offense-wise or just generally, wow, because of this passive. Unlimited cleans for Rotos, guys, makes that game-changing. And yeah, Plarium nerfed Rotos recently again. Even though I feel like was not necessarily, people are still gonna run double Rotos with Siphi because they're still a very powerful combo. And it's not a common thing. They shouldn't nerf if it's not that common, right? Like, it's not like every single player in game has 2 Rotoses and 1 Siphi to exploit that. And was not even exploit, because at the nerf Rotos got in his damage was huge, right? Like, you need crazy stats for him to actually deal damage. But overall, yeah, let's just say maybe they needed a nerf, even though I don't think they needed. Siphi, guys, and we have the aura increases ally resistance in all battles by 80. Now, the mercy system on this is pretty bad. It's good to have 10 axes for Void champions. For non-Void champions, 10 axes are not enough, Plarium. You gotta up that to 20x, 25x, because you diluted the pool with so many trash champions and so many fusions that is impossible for us to get the 10x champion on non-Voids. That really needs to be upped up. And slowly on Voids as well, because you're just adding more Voids and more Voids to the game. These 10x chances, they need to go higher. 20%, because they don't feel worth it anymore for the majority of people, even though a lot of people are still trying, you know. The next champion we have on the list, guys, I do find it a bit hilarious, because we just had a Void Epic champion kicking his butt in dungeons. Bad El Cazar. An amazing champion, was one of my first champions that I put my eyes on in this game that I wanted. Design-wise, wow, right? Skill-wise, wow. Even though he kind of got a bit power creeped in clan boss teams, in dungeons he's still a beast of a champion. Like, when I created the one-shot with Septimus, like, it's been like, what, almost 2 years ago, right? I needed Battle Cazar for it. I needed to make use of Septimus's mastery and make it in play. Once Gurptu came out, being the second champion that kind of does the same thing that Battle does, easy auto, bang, one-shot Spider without a problem, 9 seconds. But we have his aura increases ally crit rate in all battles by 25%, everywhere in the game. The passive, all allies inflict 20% more damage against targets under poison debuffs. cleanses all the allies and places 2 continuous heal buffs on all the allies and 2 5% poisons on all the enemies for 2 turns. And on the A1, attacks all enemies, heals this champion and all allies by 20% of the damage inflicted. Overall, the heal from the A1 is not huge, but it's still pretty helpful for clan boss. Not to say the continuous heals with a buff extender, game changing for a clan boss. When I made the first 1 key Ultra Nightmare non-unkillable team in the game, guys, he was the key to it. He was my stun taker, even though you might be thinking he needs to cleanse it. No, he was the stun taker. We had extra damage from the poisons. He was my poisoner for that team as well because I use Vizier. And all the healing that I got on that team was coming from these continuous heals, guys. That's how I managed to do the very first 1 key team in the entire game that was non-unkillable. With this bad boy right here. Was not gonna be possible without him. Now, I have him built for dungeons. I'm using him in the Dragon with Seer, in the Ice Golem with Xavier, right? So I have him on a shield set just because of the Dragon with Seer, but it's not a necessity. You want to give him a lot of HP, decent defense, decent speed. I have good accuracy and good resistance on him for dungeons. I'm not really using him anywhere else at the moment. The next champion we have on the list, guys, that comes from Ancients and Voids is gonna be... I don't have him here. Where is that champion hiding? Hacker Smashlord. We're gonna have a quick look at his skills in a second, but first let's check the other legendary that we have, which is a very underrated legendary, guys. Like, I don't know why people, they really underrate Cetalia, but she's, wow, an awesome champion. Now, yeah, we do have Cazar, we do have Madame series that are doing buff strips, right? Plus, we're gonna have the one from the Doom Tower as well that removes buffs and places weaken. Conjurer or whatever is her name, the epic one. But still, Cetalia is kind of like a Cazar combined with Alessandra. That's how I see her. Her A1, 60% chance to land HP burn for 2 turns on 1 enemy. Her A2, cleans a target, places a block debuff for 2 turns and heals that ally by 75% of their max HP. Heals all other allies by 20% of their max HP and fills their turn meter by 15 if the target is fully healed by this skill, guys. That's very powerful as well. So if you fully heal the target, you're gonna heal the whole team and you're gonna get turn meter as well. And if you want her for clan boss, you might not want to book this skill right here. So you have a cleanse on a 3-turn cooldown. And I gotta tell you, she's always gonna cleanse. She doesn't have a dumb AI like Steel Skull or other champions. Her A3, this is what I meant, Lysandra Cazar. 3-turn cooldown, 100% chance to remove all buffs from all enemies. Then decreases the turn meter of all enemies by 10% and fills the turn meter of all allies by 10%. Decreases the turn meter of all enemies by 20% and fills the turn meter of all allies by 20% if 5 or more buffs were removed. I used to run Cetalia for my arena defense, for my arena offense for such a long time before Madame series had a good AI, right? She was poggers for defense, guys, right? Because she was stripping everyone, regardless what shield you had when you were coming to attack my team, or regardless, the only way to beat that team was either you were coming in faster, either you were coming in with hegemons. She was very, very strong, and she's still a very strong champion. Increases magic ally resistance in all battles by 50. This is an aura that I don't actually like. I have her built on an immunity and a speed set. I'm not really using her at the moment because I'm using Cazar, Madame series. But these are kind of like the total stats that I have on her. High speed, high accuracy. That's kind of what I focused, right? Very, very strong champion as well. Now, Hack and Smash Lord, guys, I don't have one built, even though I have one at rank 6. It's not a level 60 and it's not ascended just yet. Then he is from the Skinwalkers. If you already have a Scatix, if you have a... what's her name? If you have a Skytouch Shaman, a champion that cleanses, you don't really need him, honestly. I'm not using him for faction wars, but he's great for faction wars. The cleanse is great for the boss. The heal is great as well. So he can help you in faction wars a lot if you don't have one yet and you're struggling with the faction. I would recommend you probably to try and get one. So he's a HP based champion, attacks one enemy, 55% chance to land the stun there. I was gonna say 50, but seems like it's 55. Cleanses all allies, then gives them a block debuffs buff on all allies for 2 turns. Heals all allies by 15% of this champion's max HP. Heals each ally by an extra 10 of this champion's max HP for each debuff removed from them. The more debuffs removed, the more heals they're gonna get, and give him tons of HP, tons of speed, probably immunity, resistance, depending by what exactly you're planning to do with him, and he's gonna do an amazing job. Now this skill right here was always a bit weird, man. Sacrifices HP equal to 25% of this champion's max HP, then attacks all enemies. Damage inflicted is equal to 50% of this champion's max HP. This attack is always a normal hit. The HP sacrifice will happen even if it kills this champion. So he's a bit suicidal with this skill, which is not great honestly, but hey. Increases ally HP in dungeons by 33%. So overall pretty good stats. The cleanse is good, but how I specified, if you don't need him for faction wars, probably you might want to avoid in getting one. Then of course, we have some Pog epics as well, guys. Let me just go down to my epic champions and let's see, do we have a void one? Yeah, so the void champion that we have is Runkeeper. That's Dark, right? I have a guide on him. He's a cleanser as well. So this is kind of like the cleansing sort of 10x, more or less. Super powerful heal, right? Removes all debuffs from all allies, then heals them. Places 15 continuous heal buff for 2 turns on allies that have a debuff removed. Increase attack, fills their meter, and on the A1 we have Leech. We have a attack aura for all battles. Very underrated epic champion, very powerful heal and cleanse. He doesn't give you block debuffs, but he's a very powerful champion. The next champion we have on the list, and this is a very strong epic champion even for arena defense, guys. Rector Dread. Awesome, awesome champion. I have her built on a Swift Parry and an Immortal. That's more for arena. This is kind of like what total stats I have on her. But why is she so good? She's Force. Being Force in arena gives you an advantage because the majority of people are coming in with magic nukers. Stranda, Foley, Hundig. We have all these Astralon, Rotoses, all of them magic, right? Her A1 attacks one enemy, 50% chance to land attack down. Her A2 heals all allies by 20% of this champion's max HP. The more HP, the bigger the heal. After healing, places a perfect veil buff for them for 2 turns. Places a 50% continuous heal buff for 1 turn instead on all allies with less than 100% HP. Then we have the A3, revives a single ally with 60% HP and fills their turn meter by 60%. Places a perfect veil buff on them for 3 turns. And the passive, whenever an ally under a veil, perfect veil buff gets a turn, heals them by 10% of their max HP. Also increases the resistance of all allies by 50 if they're under veil or perfect veil. And her normal aura increases ally resistance in Doom Tower battles by 55%. She's great for progression as well. Awesome, awesome champion. Now, I would love to get one on my free-to-play account. 100% she's gonna be game-changing, but I don't think I'll be trying to open my Ancients for 10x. I'll be saving for the 2x because I don't have that many overall and I'm missing tons and tons of champions. The next champion we have on the list, guys, is no one else but Vogot. Right here. Again, awesome champion. He works great with double Rotos now instead of shield. That's kind of like Boomer Strider, throwing a Siphi, double Rotos and Vogot in here. His A1 attacks one enemy 3 times. Each hit has a 40% chance to increase the duration of a random debuff on the target. Then attacks all enemies. 75% chance to land provoke on all enemies for 1 turn. Also 75% chance to place decrease attack for 2 turns on targets who receive the provoke debuff from this skill. Passive, whenever this champion is attacked, heals all allies by 50% of the damage received. Only heals by 25% of the damage received from boss attacks. This champion only receives half of the heal that all other allies receive. That's from the boss at least. Then the other passive, when attack places a leech debuff on the attacker for 2 turns. If the attacker is under a provoke debuff placed by this champion, also has a 100% chance to increase the cooldown of a random skill on the attacker by 2 turns. Occurs once per attack and increases ally accuracy in all battles by 40. Awesome champion as well because of the passive mainly, that heal. I think he kind of got like a ghost nerf as well in the past, in the last couple of months. He used to heal instant on the hit, but now it seems like he takes all the damage, then he heals. I'm not sure exactly if it's just a change in animation or he actually got a bit of a nerf. The next champion we have on the list seems like I don't have him at 60 either. Even though I leveled one up, we're gonna go straight to the index. And that is Aox the Rememberer, guys. Pretty good epic champion as well. He can definitely do a lot of things with Battle Cazar, without Battle Cazar. Pretty good base stats. The A1 attacks one enemy 2 times, 30% chance to land poison debuff for 1 turn. The A2 attacks one enemy, heals all allies by 10% of their max HP, heals each ally by an extra 2.5 for each debuff on the target. Then the A3 places decreased attack on all enemies for 2 turns, 100% chance to decrease each enemy's turn meter by 20, places a 30% decreased crit rate debuff on the target for 2 turns if they have 50 or more turn meter after the turn meter decrease. The passive increases the duration of 2 random debuffs on the attacker by 1 turn when attacked, occurs once per hit. Decent as a stun target in a way or another, kind of compared with Steel Skull, but then they're not very similar either at the same time. So he's a decent champion, and we have increases ally accuracy in Doom Tower battles by 60. Pretty good base stats, guys, but these are the champions we're gonna get on the 10x. We're gonna have 1 epic void, 1 void legendary as well. That's gonna start from Friday, guys, which is tomorrow, and it's gonna be as usual during the whole weekend. Man, we're gonna get a 10x Siphi. I've told the guys last weekend that, guys, it's either gonna be 10x Siphi, either 10x Hegemon, and everyone was like, no, it's not gonna be. I was like, yeah, 2x voice just finished. Expect the POG champion to drop after it. But that was all for this video, guys. Do let me know in the comments down below how many of you guys are gonna go to get this bad girl, or at least try for it, right? That was all for this video. Appreciate all of you. Don't forget to smash that like button, subscribe if you haven't subscribed yet, and I'll see you all in the next video. Peace out.